The conference has been amazing. I think the speakers have been really good, and actually really interesting how you've put them together. I think the morning was all about distribution, and so the afternoon was more about creativity and different perspectives on the creativity. So I think it's been great. So firstly, I think what it comes down to is I'm not necessarily talking. I mean, there's a metaphor to say fill 100,000 seat stadium. I mean, what I really mean is, the things that people come together to watch in this sort of joint experience is not about a brand. They don't come to see a brand, do its thing. They come to see sport. They go to see music, or they go to see theater, or whatever it is that they love. And it's not really about the size of the audience. It's about just the idea of them coming together. And I think the best strategy is to be such a fundamental part of that experience as a brand, and that you're there from the beginning, so that when it does take off, when the Slovenian team does do well, you've always been there, and you're not just jumping on the bandwagon, right? You've been a part of it from the beginning, and you've been at the event when there's only 1,000 people there, and so when all of a sudden there's 20,000 people there, you completely belong. I think that's a great point. I think, as I said, it's almost a paradox, which is the more digital the world becomes, the more important physical human experiences become. And I think it's easy for me to see why brands and marketeers and rights holders forget that, because frankly, digital content is relatively cheap to produce and can reach millions of people compared to a live event, which is limited to the amount of people it can reach and costs a lot more, right? So I can see the economic argument for moving everything digital, but we lose our soul then, right? We lose what actually makes these passions important, and that's the human connection in the first place. I think it'll take a while for the Laver Cup to. I mean, one of the things that's amazing about the Ryder Cup is the history, and it takes a while to develop that history, right? But the idea is fantastic, right? The idea of, and I think it's actually one of the most interesting things about this time in the industry is there's so much more scope for innovation on the event side. Right, you've got tiebreak 10s, and you've got short form golf, and you've got all kind, like obviously 2020 cricket, going back a little bit further. But you've got this opportunity, we're speaking to these people about a new form of rugby called Rugby X. Right, there is an opportunity to invent new sports events, and I think that's a really exciting place to be. Now, as I said, for all these events, it's going to take time to build the same level of shared history that you get with the Ryder Cup. But there's no reason why the potential isn't there. And I 100% applaud kind of sport innovation, creating new formats, creating new events. Not all of them will work, but I think there's a great opportunity to try it. The Bulls and the Croatian national football team were both absolutely brilliant. I loved everything about that. I think Jeremy does a great job in summarizing the best campaigns for the World Cup. I love that pen, the football pen, which I hope I can still get my hands on, because that just looked fantastic. So there are lots of brilliant examples. Again, the We Play guys and Facebook, they're exactly what I'm talking about, which is creating a great campaign is only half the story. The other half is the performance of that campaign and being smarter about that. So I think, genuinely, I think you guys have put together such a good program. It's been really good.